And you can find they've had missions that have been blown by it, but at the cost of hundreds of millions of dollars for single missions that weren't all any more successful than other versions of that aircraft would have been. And so I do think don't be hard on yourselves because the latter we're some critical folks. And beyond that, I mean, these are things I kind of feel like you're where I found myself a year or two in, like, well, we elected our guy Obama, and we had 2 surges in Afghanistan to the effect of almost tripling the number of ground troops. We had in the first 2 years of the Obama presidency more civilian casualties in Afghanistan than all Bush's years put together. We had a myth of a decreasing Pentagon budget that was happily accepted by both major political parties. It was, if you ran the numbers, there was a bit of leveling off, but it never went down as far as what we were spending on the Pentagon. I don't. You talked about legal arguments, and in particular, when you look at the recent bombing of the Assad-controlled airfields, so blatantly illegal on so many levels. I mean, you can go back to the Constitution and talk about congressional authorization for war, but you can also go to Article 6, where we say we're going to make any ratified treaties creep off the land. The United Nations Charter is very, very clear about when you can attack a member state of the United Nations. Say when Obama was attacking Al-Qaeda or ISIS or Al-Shabaab in the 9 different countries he bombed during his presidency, that was legal, but he wasn't directly attacking a member state. He was attacking somebody who there was some semblance of a War Powers Act that covered it. When Trump bombed the airfield and has continued to do that, there's been no discussion of the legality of that. And so clearly a violation of Article 6 of the Constitution, even if you bypass the Congress has a responsibility for oversight and say, well, the War Powers Act kind of rewrote that, which you can't do that with a constitutional amendment, but whatever. If you accept that legal argument, there's just no way to make attacking Assad at this point legal. The reality of Syria, we all like to believe that, or not we all, but the general public likes to believe that it's just too complicated to understand. And sure, there are 3 or 4 different groups in Syria doing work. Okay, 8 different groups in Syria, but realistically, at this point, there are 2 primary axes of power that could feasibly take control of the country. One being al-Nusra and ISIS. You think 4, okay. One being, I'll turn the mic right over so you can explain that. But in my mind, you've got Assad backed by Russia, and you've got ISIS, al-Nusra, the Wahhabi alliance backed by Saudi Arabia and the U.S. And I think the possibility of another axis of power taking military control there is absurd. And the U.S. has empowered al-Nusra. We directly funded al-Nusra. We maybe have directly funded ISIS. And I think that there's a standing agreement among the folks from the State Department and Pentagon, although they have funded different groups that sometimes call each other, that the Wahhabi axis of power is the one we want. But essentially, we want Al-Qaeda and ISIS to, in the end, control Syria. And that we are kind of passively funding and arming and making sure that those weapons find their way into the hands of the Sunni axis of power. I think the Americans began to grasp that has been our role, that ISIS is there not only because there are traumatized people who have been bombed and lost family members and are really pissed off in the West, but also because we're making sure that they have lots of guns to destabilize Syria and to go after Assad. And people might start to be more interested in deconstructing the political system we have and building something new that maybe works in our interest instead of the interest of those funding campaigns. So I'm going to turn it over so that you can disagree with that.
Yeah, Bill Walker, I agree. We beat ourselves up because we aren't putting ourselves billions of dollars to use for our massive media campaigns that we don't have. And nowhere in this room are the world's 1,042 billionaires to help us out here, even though theoretically they should be more concerned about the world being burned up by nuclear fire. We are because they theoretically have lives they would wish to protect. So we're pretty much not using means to fight our battles. We can't outspend the people. This goes back to why we have large central powers in the world in the first place, which from the beginning of the 20th century is mostly been the story of central banks. Hopefully the crypto people will change us around and people will start being able to keep some of their money. And you won't have situations like Venezuela where the government can just take 100% of the civil society's resources and lose it all. So crypto is, Bitcoin type systems are one hope for the future that will get us more decentralized. Decentralization is key to peace. If you look at the countries that have succeeded in staying out of wars, they're the ones that don't have a president that can get out of bed one day and have their army go do something. The Swiss, nobody here knows the name of the Swiss president. No. And why would you? They can't do that. They cannot just get out of bed one day and grab their football and put it in code and have the Swiss blow someone away. The Swiss put their efforts into protecting their civilians and decentralizing their army and making it impossible for it to be taken out from the top. In fact, even if somebody did take the top, it wouldn't affect it. The Germans put a lot of effort into trying to figure out how to take Switzerland, and they eventually concluded it could not be done because there was no central place to attack. They could take any one particular thing, but that didn't matter to the whole system. And that's how successful, peaceful, long-term stability occurs is when you have severe decentralization. And that's how successful movements work. If you have a large centralized peace movement, the leadership will quickly be corrupted or subverted or whatever. We can't build pyramids to oppose other pyramids. It has to be bottom up. It has to be driven by small individual groups. When there was a large anti-war movement in the United States in between World War I and World War II, the groups were very decentralized. The America First group had 480 local chapters or 800,000 members. There hasn't been a peace movement. And remember, the population was a lot smaller back then too. So there hasn't been a peace movement of that size since then. They also used a lot of humor back in the interwar period. There was a group called Veterans of Future Wars that was started by a group of Princeton students, and they got up to 80,000 members in between wars. So it all has to be bottom up, spread out, and the memes are very important. And where I would suggest starting with the memes is we go back to the root of, you can kind of piggyback on the pro-war memes, because the pro-war memes all depend on the evil enemy. You have to have this vicious enemy. And the counter to the various vicious enemies is, gee, where did the vicious enemy get their uranium? So North Korea, for instance, you can Google this up. It was a front page article in 1994 in the New York Times. Clinton signs a bill that gave the North Koreans 2 nuclear reactors, a bunch of uranium. They never turned the reactors on. They just put the uranium straight into bombs. It also gave them a few $1 billion, and we continue to aid the North Koreans to this day. So this is the sort of thing that causes a lot of cognitive dissonance, and which is why it's never in the major media. But this is the kind of thing you can get out and actually have some effect to change the minds with. When people realize that the enemy they're afraid of is being funded, or in the case of Saudi Arabia, technologically and C3-wise controlled by the U.S. The U.S. is, even though the Saudis are quote-unquote paying for the weapons, we just gave them a $110 billion deal. They're giving us oil for the weapons, but whenever they actually try to use the weapons, it ends up being our advisors and our control and our surveillance data that is used to tell them who to attack. So for all practical purposes, the Saudi army is just part of us. some way of making their own policy. The U.S. is apparently okay with a large part of the Middle East going Wahhabi. The odds of us ever getting people to study history are very low, but for ourselves, it's useful to go back and read Lawrence of Arabia. If you read Lawrence of Arabia's Seven Pillars of Wisdom, one of the main points in Seven Pillars of Wisdom is the Wahhabis are nuts. Do not give them anything. At the time, they only had 6 oases. They had 6 backwoods oases, and as far as Lawrence was concerned, that was 6 too many. But some guy from India came in who didn't know anything about the Middle East, gave even Saud a bunch of rifles and gold. And Saud then committed one of the 20th century's genocides, killed half a million people or something in 1 year. It was significant. It's a big enough genocide that it ends up in Ronald's genocide pages on his University of Hawaii site. So this demonization of Islam should be a demonization of U.S. intelligence agencies, because Wahhabism did not exist in any significant form in 1918, but Western weapons of money built it up, and now the U.S. is continuing the British work to build it up even more, so that the more modernizing factions of Sunniism and Shiitism are being subsumed into this huge worldwide Wahhabi movement, which is driven by Saudi money. So, well, we can go on about that forever, but I guess the take-home here is we want to go after the root of the problem, and the root of the problem is U.S. intervention. When the U.S. goes in somewhere, picks the very worst faction in mind, gives them 100 times as much money and weapons as anyone around them, then you end up with ISIS, and you end up with the people in Nigeria, the Boko Haram fighters, that ended up with the weapons from the Libyan invasion, which somehow has drawn out the news, even though that's still the civil war there, so gone. And that was another, if we're going to talk constitutionalism, completely illegal. We just attacked Libya, pulled out of the blue, no reason whatsoever, and then we made sure we took all the weapons that the Russians had stored there during the Cold War, and we handed them out to all sorts of interesting groups, and now those weapons are in Syria, they're in half of Africa, thus excusing us for building more bases in Africa and expanding more drone operations in Africa. So the whole cycle continues. Every time the U.S. gives $1 billion in arms to a radical group somewhere, it's excusing $100 billion in arms to try to counter it after it spreads out and is hidden and used to strike at the roots of civil society everywhere. So that would be, there's a lot more we can say about goals, but in the short term, that's what we can do with the resources we have, is we can just piggyback on the pro-war means. And that was what the veterans of future wars did in the 30s. They were piggybacking